In this video, we're going to talk about how to find the best real estate deals. And the question is, what are the best real estate deals? Well, I'll go ahead and tell you the best real estate deals are the motivated seller deals. Now, I have a lot of experience in this. I have bought so many houses from motivated sellers. And the crazy thing is that everybody's motivation is different, right? So you can't pinpoint and say, well, this person will always be motivated versus this person. I cannot tell you how many properties I bought from, whether it was an inherited house or whether it was a house about to be foreclosed on. Sometimes it was just a house that had been poorly managed, and so the house was in complete disarray. I mean, there's so many stories I could go into, but let's talk about how you find those deals. How are you finding the motivated sellers? Because these are the people that are willing to sell at a discount, and that's really what you want. So let's dig in. First thing is online marketing. Now, online marketing obviously been around for a while. There's plenty of people out there that are marketing online, probably in your city or the city that you're interested in, who are running Google ads. The two main ways really are for paid leads would be Google ads, which have high intent search words like sell my house fast, sell my house for cash, those types of things. Your ad can show in Google at the top if you're bidding enough on those keywords. So that's one way. The other way is Facebook. Now, Facebook is a little bit different because it's harder to find the exact people unless you have a list. Like you could have a list of non-owner occupieds. You could upload them to Facebook. You could skip trace, get all their information, match them to profiles on Facebook, and then market specifically to them. So those are two ways. Obviously, Google Ads is higher intent. Those are going to be worth more because they're actually searching for the thing that you're trying to provide them, which is an easy sell. Facebook is not necessarily that way. It's more like friends going and hanging out, and then you're interrupting like a salesperson and saying, "Hey, I'd like to buy your house." So it's a little bit different. Then the other way here, so I mentioned this, then the other way is SEO. So you can, if you want to take the long-term approach, you could build your own website and organically get it to rank for keywords. There's a lot involved in this. It does take patience. We just went through an entire website experiment, and it's taken us over 12 months to prove out some things that we knew would be true, but it took us over 12 months to get it all worked on and figured out. So you can do that. There are people like Carrot sells, like I think it's called Carrot Websites. They're big into real estate investor websites. They sell sites. You can check them out, but they also have a lot of training for how to optimize, search engine optimize your website so that you can be found organically. The great thing is you put in a lot of work and then organically you begin to rank, and those leads you don't necessarily have to pay for. You just have to pay in patience, essentially. Next, driving for dollars. Now, this can't be this can't be overstated. This is probably one of the best ways that people find houses. I used to always drive around and look for rotten wood and peeling paint. That's what I would look for. Rotten wood, peeling paint, high grass, things like that. House that maybe didn't look like it was being taken care of. And then what did I want to do? I wanted to, leave a note on the door or find out their phone number. Who owned the house? Did they live in state, out of state? Find out how motivated they were. I wanted to send them letters, postcards, all kinds of things. I just wanted to get in touch with them. Now there's apps. So like Deal Machine, if you've ever heard of Deal Machine is an app that will actually, you find the property, you find the address, it will literally send them information. It'll send them, I think, a postcard. So there's great apps like that, Deal Machine, but looking for neglected or vacant properties, they're usually a pain to somebody. You just need to find the somebody and find out if they're motivated or not. And sometimes you will see houses that are vacant, neglected, and not taken care of, and they may be there for years. And it really is all about timing. Everything's about timing. And so so you just have to be consistent. So if you find a property, it's not likely the first time you reach out to them, they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to sell you my house at a deep discount." you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to be consistent. So if you send them a letter once or send them a postcard once, that's probably not going to do it. It's going to take several times of being consistent because timing is everything. So that's what I would say for driving for dollars. I've known FedEx workers, I've known UPS workers who have bought many houses because they're on routes and they see houses that are neglected and they just do dig leading while they're driving around. Typically what I used to do is when I owned a house in one area, I would drive all around the neighborhood and I would be looking for other properties just like mine or close to mine that I could potentially dig, what we call dig lead. And then eventually we hired somebody and all they were responsible for doing was dig leading, going out and finding these properties that other people might not have seen before. Next is direct mail campaigns. So this kind of piggybacks on that. You can do direct mail campaigns. Probably the most popular direct mail campaigns are non-owner occupied, which you can get most of that is public record. And then there's also services that will help you find the people who have owned a house for a certain period of time. We would always look for, I think, like 15 years and beyond, or maybe 10 years and beyond. We just wanted there to be enough equity so that when we called, we knew that they had equity. And I was actually just talking to a group that does a lot of direct mail, and they've got a pretty incredible algorithm. And I'm telling you that it's interesting because they told me that it's not necessarily the oldest houses that are the ones that are more likely to sell right away. And so direct mail is definitely going to be a great source for you. So this is, again, absentee owner. I call them non-owner occupied. You could do pre-foreclosure. Services like PropStream will help you with that. Design postcards with clear messaging. Now, listen, in my experience, if you have a postcard, I think a personal face, I think somebody who looks trustworthy, friendly, I think so. I actually did one of these for a friend. I helped design and write all the copy for one of his, and it was his face. And I just wrote, really compelling, short and sweet copy for that postcard that he would then mail out to all these people. And he told me that when he went to buy he went to make an offer on a house, and the lady who was there was really shocked because she had the postcard of his face on there, and she was like, "Oh, it really is you." And she didn't really know. She could be a different company or whatever, but it's like, no, this is really me. And so, here's the example: sell your house fast, no repairs needed, no fees. All these things are good, but there is an art and a science to writing good copy, and I would figure that out. I think probably one of the first things that you might do is stick it in an AI tool to get you 50% of the way there, and then work the rest of it out. But and make it really yours and your own. Not too much copy. Make it simple. And then ultimately, this is all about consistency. It's consistency. Again, this is timing and consistency. If you're consistent, eventually you'll hit on people. We used to send to the same group, same zip code, same targeted. We would send them probably once a month. We would send a letter, news. We were doing letters back in the day. We weren't doing postcards, but I think just consistency and just hammering it all of the time works really, really well. All right, network with real estate pros. If you're buying in your local market, this is definitely one of the things you could do. It's the easiest thing you could do. You could go and sit down you could go to RIA meetings and attend local real estate meetings, and they're usually not the people sitting on the front row. You're going to be able to determine pretty quickly who is brand new and who's not new. You want to hang out with the people who have been around the block, who've bought and sold houses, who own a lot of rental property. They come to those things. They usually hang out in the back. I would find them, talk to them, learn as much as you can, and maybe you want them to mentor you. You just never know what somebody's willing to share with you, because we used to share whatever. I mean, we'd share anything if people wanted to ask. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the ways we actually became very successful in our house buying. In our house buying days when we were buying a lot of houses, is we would go out and we would meet with other investors and they would tell us what was working for them. I'll never forget going to Atlanta when we were kind of stuck on some stuff, and we met with some guys in Atlanta who had done it and been very, very successful. That was the first time we ever heard of mailers, and that we knew people were doing mailers, and they said, this is what we're doing. Up until that point, we were doing all billboards, and so we did a mailer run to a specific zip code, and I'm telling you, we hit a property, A-class neighborhood, old, outdated. The person, do you know what the motivation was? The motivation was they didn't want to fix the property up. That's it. They just didn't want to fix the property up. And they didn't want people walking through them and telling them, oh, I'll buy it if contingent on that you do this, 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 this. They were like, we don't want to do that. We bought it. All we did was walk through it. We made the offer. They accepted the offer we made, which means we offered too much. But and then we turned around and sold it to somebody right away. We didn't even rehab the property. We sold it as is to another real estate investor and made great profit. And they were happy. They rehabbed it and sold it. And so I think, but that came from just networking with other people. That idea came. So you'll get both ideas, and you can probably find deals. One deal that comes to an investor may not be right for that person, so they may hand it off to you. And so I would most definitely go and hang out with these people. Partner with agents specializing in distressed property. I think agents, there's a investor here in town that does probably 80 to 100 retail flips every year. And he never spends $1 on marketing. Everything comes through agents. Every single thing. And he is buying houses that are somewhat distressed. They're outdated, and he's always rehabbing houses. And I'm telling you, he's extremely successful because he's developed these incredible relationships. When somebody wants to sell a house retail, they come to their agent, and their agent's like, your house probably needs to be fixed up. I can't really show it like this. It's dirty, outdated. I don't think it'll sell. And so what do? But I do know somebody who might buy it from you and pay you cash and close really quickly if you want me to talk to this person. So he buys the house, the agent gets a little commission, and then he rehabs the house, gives it to that agent to sell again, and they make a lot of money, right? So the agent is motivated to get it to this person. You can do that. I think, specializing, find these agents. You can connect with attorneys handling probate or divorce or whatever. They often can lead to motivated sellers. I will also tell you this. You go through a lot of motivated sellers to find the one motivated seller. Again, we used to get 100 leads a month, and we would make 20, 25 offers, and we would buy 3 or 4 houses every month. So you see the numbers. We're talking about 3 to 4% of our lead volume were the people that we really wanted to buy houses from. Hey, here's one. We don't like these Bandit Signs. Nobody likes these Bandit Signs, but I will tell you, people buy houses. Cities don't like them, but people will pay to have, they'll pay per sign to go put them up. It's just crazy how this stuff works because they're going to get ripped down in most cities. Avoid fines by researching city codes. That's my disclaimer right there. I'm not telling you to do anything illegal, but I do know people put up Bandit Signs. They buy houses from Bandit. People call Bandit Signs. That's what blows me away. Anytime I'm driving in these investable markets in like C-class neighborhoods, I'm seeing Bandit Signs, and it's just funny because they'll be there one day, they're gone the next, but people just have a rotation. They keep putting them up. This is the typical Bandit Sign, is the big yellow sign with black writing, maybe red down here. Our big billboards were yellow and black with red writing and stuff. And so anything that sticks out would be great for Bandit Signs. They're called Bandit Signs because they're illegal, I think, is why they're called Bandit Signs. All right, cold calling. Yeah. So cold calling, I think there's probably better ways to get distressed properties, but if you had some money, I would probably hire somebody to cold call. I wouldn't necessarily be dialing for dollars myself. I would say, well, how much do I need to pay somebody to call 1,000 people, to call this list of 1,000 people, get through this list. How long is it going to take them to call and reach out to them? Now, you want to run everybody through a do not call list to make sure you're not, breaking any laws as far as that goes. But you could give them phone scripts. They could identify potential deals, potential motivated sellers, and then they could set appointments. These are appointment setters is essentially what they are. They're not going through everything with the person that they get. They find somebody who's motivated. They don't do the whole thing. So focus on homeowners and maybe in financial distress, pre-foreclosure, expired listing, track call outcomes. So the way you do this is you have a CRM. You want to have a CRM like, I think we had one on here, CRM tools. Like there's one, I think Podio is one that a lot of real estate investors use, which is pretty popular. Again, the pro tip is outsource to a third party. It's not something you really want to do. If you have a W-2 job or you're making money doing something else, you want to outsource. You want to use leverage and outsource the parts of the job that are not as fun, and that would be one of them. All right, social media. This is not necessarily paid, but you can join Facebook groups, and that only have to do with real estate buying and selling. You may be able to find some deals there. You may really develop relationships that you can leverage into other opportunities. Post about buying properties for cash. You could join community groups. Hey, we're always looking to buy houses for cash. If you know anybody who's looking to sell fast and get cash quick, let us know. I think I'm going to pause on this one for just a little bit because I know a guy here in town, and he started a TikTok, and all he was really doing in the TikTok was going out and filming himself out at properties. As he was walking properties, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I bought this property for this much, this is what I'm going to do to it, et cetera, et cetera. He started getting people watching his videos. I mean, people really like that stuff. And what's crazy is he built up a TikTok following of like 35,000 people were watching started watching his content, and he ended up buying 3 or 4 deals just from that. People would reach out to him through TikTok and say, hey, I have a property I'd like to sell. Would you be interested in coming look at them? He bought 3 or 4 properties just from using TikTok. Just from not being afraid to, and he's not an actor. Nobody taught him how to do this. He just started posting things that he thought was interesting. If he thought it was interesting, he would post about it. And he did this on TikTok. I don't think he was doing Instagram, but you could choose either one. Focus on how you help sellers solve your problem. Now, I believe his TikTok handle has his city in it, so people know kind of where he is. So wherever you are, if you're in Cleveland, Ohio, Cleveland home buyer or whatever, or, something like that. I can't remember what his handle is, but I did go look him up. I looked at his TikToks and I was like, hey, nothing special here, but it's just consistency and starting to get that flywheel turning. And so he posts. Now, this was 6 or 7 months ago when I sat down with him. We had lunch together. So probably, he may have double the number of people. He's probably bought more properties. So who knows? I think it's a great way to do it. It's an easy way. And especially if you're younger and you're like a digital native and you understand this stuff really well, I think you could probably do well. All right. What about paid lead? You could use platforms like Zillow, FSBO, for sale by owner, or foreclosure.com, and just pay for leads. They collect leads and they send them out, and you pay per lead. That's one way you can find motivated sellers. Like example is needtosellmyhousefast.com. That's one that obviously, they're the ones that are doing all the SEO work. They're the ones doing all the paid ads work to get eyeballs on their websites. And then people are filling out forms and they're routing those to people who sign up for their services. You just have to figure out, is that going to be for you? I would probably do a test. I would take a certain amount of money and set it aside and say, I'm going to use this for a test. I know that if I buy a property, more than likely I'm going to make more than X. So let's just say I'm going to make more than $5,000. I'm going to set aside $5,000. I'm going to spend it on advertising. And you can use that for mailers. You could use it for a paid lead service. You could use it for social media. If you're an expert at creating those ads, you could use it for whatever. But this is one of the ways that you could set aside money and say, I'm going to give it a shot. Paid leads. All right, that's it. Here we go. Combine multiple strategies to reach more potential sellers. I mean, to combine multiple strategies, you have to have money. You're going to have money to kind of get started. I believe consistency and follow-up are the key. This is the big thing. You have to follow up and you have to be consistent. If you send one mailer, you can forget about it. It's not going to work. You might as well, you've wasted the money you spent on the mailer. It's consistency. Start with one, maybe two, and then scale up as you grow. What we used to do is we used to say, hey, every month, the houses that we sell, that we buy and sell, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to replenish the advertising dollars, and then anything over that in profit, we're going to use that for distributions to pay ourselves, our staff, whatever. But the first part we were worried about is, hey, how do we fill up the bucket? We have this leaking bucket. We're spending money in advertising. How do we fill it up every month so we can keep spending money advertising? So that's the way I would look at it. And I hope this has been helpful. If you like these videos, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back with more investor-friendly videos just like this.